Hey, what's up, everybody? Good evening. Welcome.
Hey y'all, what's going on?
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in tonight. It's Wednesday night. Listen, it's Bible study night, Act Right Out Loud night. Man,
It's a night for a lot.
it's a
Isn't it?
night for a lot. Thank you all so much for tuning in with us. Hey, what's going on? Muffin, what's going on? John, who else we got on tonight? Lena, Dara, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Listen,
good evening.
we're live. What's up, nephew? Appreciate you.
Who is nephew?
Jeremiah, just share.
Hey, Jeremiah.
Thank you. Appreciate you, nephew. Appreciate you. We know you got thousands of followers on YouTube, so we appreciate it. I promise
I'm sorry, Jeremiah.
I promise you, he is not.
Ryan, what's up, Equation? How y'all feeling about this snow?
Right. Ryan said Merry Christmas, I guess because of the snow.
Right. Because
yeah. yeah.
Why, y'all? Why are we getting this snow? And it feels like the snow that we got last month just melted.
It does, but I'm glad that it didn't do what it did at the beginning of the year.
This is true, so I'm thankful for that. So let me take my complaint back. I take it back. I take it back.
Okay, all right. I take it back. So y'all, we're live, of course, on the Equation Facebook page, also on the mobile app, and of course we're live on our YouTube page as well. And we are super excited. We're super excited about tonight and about tonight's conversation. Man, we started it last week. My Love Life is a movie. And we talked about a little bit about Jason's lyric.
No, we talked about Love Jones last week.
Love Jones.
Tonight,
yes,
we're talking about
Jason's lyric.
Did
you
know that there was a play or some type of something happening here in St. Louis?
I think
Jason's lyric.
I think that's New Jack City.
No, baby, no.
Christy
sent it to me. I saw it on Facebook.
Wow. Check it out.
Yeah, Jason's lyric live.
Wow.
How ironic is that?
Wow. So that's Alan Payne. That's Alan Payne.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, good evening, Pastor Steve.
Hey, Pastor Steve.
That's Alan Payne. So I used to work at this job, right?
Oh wow!
And they used to, what's up, G Money? I'm like, I do not look like G Money from New Jack City.
You don't.
You're offended, aren't you?
A tad. I am a tad. As should you.
What's up, G Money? I'm like, y'all, come on now, quit.
Y'all, when y'all see Bishop at church Sunday, I want y'all to say, "What's up, G Money?"
Please don't do that. Don't y'all do that. Don't y'all do that. Listen, let's. Hey, Mama, what's going on? Good to have you on tonight, Mama. Good to see you tonight.
Hey, Mama.
Tonight, I'm loving these.
You under arrest?
I know, right? I'm loving these. My Love Life is a movie because we're getting the opportunity to go back, kind of talk a little bit about some of. I won't say everybody's favorite. Movies.
Your favorite movie, some of your favorite movies. Well, mine too, because Love Jones is one of my favorite movies too.
What did you like Jason's lyric?
I did. I was sad watching Jason's lyric.
Yeah,
but it was a good movie. It was a good representation of how family dynamics play a part in your relationships.
Yeah.
Even as an adult.
Right. That's true, and that's kind of a little bit what we're going to get into tonight.
Yeah.
Because of course this entire month. As we talk about relationship reset on Sundays, and then of course during these conversations, shameless plug real quick though. Man, this past Saturday with the singles for relationship and brunch, it was good. A great conversation.
It was good.
So I'm really excited.
I'm excited about the couples.
Yeah. Yes. February 22nd.
February 22nd is the couples.
Yes, R&B,
relationships and brunch.
The couples
but
edition.
The singles. Hey, if y'all on this live, go ahead and put in the comments how y'all felt about that relationships and brunch singles edition.
Yeah. John said it was awesome. John said
singles edition. It was good. We need more opportunities like that to be around each other and talk about the
Right.
things that we're experiencing in life. Not all of us are in relationships or
Right.
married, but we do have wisdom that we can impart
Right.
on our
Right.
singles as well.
That is true because one of
Because
the
we were once you.
right, we were, and we were once having those feelings of you know how it is when you're single, you almost treated like a second class citizen or whatnot,
Yeah.
and that's certainly not the case. But of course, purpose,
Mm.
maximizing your purpose while you are
While
single.
you're
So
in your single
yeah,
status.
so it was a great time. But
Yeah.
tonight,
Tonight.
if you hadn't hit that share button, go ahead and hit that share button. Tag your people, get them in the room for this conversation tonight, because I believe it is going to be a good conversation, very powerful conversation, and of course, our prayer is that you leave this conversation being able to think about some things concerning your relationships in your life, your family dynamics, and just love. So
Yeah.
so tonight, Jason's lyrics, of course, it is a romantic drama, 1994, starring,
Wow, 94.
that's crazy.
1994.
Starring Alan Payne, Jada Pinkett, of course, Jada Pinkett Smith, before she was Jada Pinkett Smith, and of course, it's a awesome love story. Backdrop with the setting in Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas. It's about a gentleman by the name of Jason who has a love interest, and her name is Lyric. And Jason is dealing with some stuff from some family dynamics, trauma from his past.
Actually, they both were. Yeah.
But then Lyric, she's a free spirit, and she, in their relationship, she tries her best to inspire him to dream beyond,
to want more.
Yeah, his present circumstances, and just kind of do his best to get past his traumatic past and experience. And so one of the things I like about the movie is that it literally explores so many different phases of relationships, love, family, trauma, healing, and then of course Jason is the one who had the complicated relationship based on what he experienced as a child.
Yeah.
Now, all of us have, when I say all of us, of course us included, but then everybody that's listening tonight, there are some things that we possibly have seen, have done in our past as children, things that really was just traumatic to us. If you don't deal with it, it will spill over into not just your love relationships, but it will spill over into all of your relationships,
your life.
Yeah. And I think this is one of the reasons why Tanya and I, we're so big on making sure that as couples, even as families, that you take the time to really have the hard conversations.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can be at the family reunion, we can be with all of our cousins, and it's just always this
tension.
this tension or this one unspoken thing, like we don't talk about that. Until somebody boldly stands up and they're like, well, why don't we talk about this?
Right. That's over it. Somebody that's over it.
Right.
Now I'm tired of being quiet about the fact that so and so did such and such.
Right.
And they just spilled beans.
Right. Well, why?
You've been in one of those situations?
Not personally.
Yeah.
But I've seen it from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
But in the movie is Jason, Joshua, his brother, Lyric, Mad Dog, which is played by Forrest Whitaker. Mad Dog was
so Jason's family included him, his mom, Mad Dog, and Joshua.
Yes.
So it included them. But in the movie, Joshua is deceased.
No.
And not Joshua. Mad Dog is deceased. Sorry. Mad Dog is deceased. But the movie goes back and tell about certain traumas, which include Mad Dog's character.
Right.
And it shows how it impacted Jason and Joshua.
Right.
And it also shows how the mom experienced it too. So it gave like 3 different perspectives of Mad Dog.
Right. It did. It did. And the movie did too, because I mean, of course, the movie starts off with Jason, Joshua, and Mad Dog in a
field or something. Yeah.
And it just displays love. It displays a father or father figure being present in their lives. But then unfortunately, Mad Dog has to go to war, which was during this time probably was Vietnam War. Yeah. But he doesn't come back the same way that he left.
Right.
You know, he come back, he got a limp and a cane now.
Yeah.
And
he's, PTSD possibly, dealing with what he dealt with.
What he dealt with in the war, what he saw in the war.
And we saw that a lot back in those days. Even now with men that go off to war, and what men and women that go off to war, and they experience these things over there that, it affects them.
It does affect them.
And if they don't see proper help to try to help them maintain it, then I could see the household suffering as this one did.
Yes, but I think that's one of the unspoken, I want to say truths, or just unspoken things regarding a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
Especially when people go into relationships and, of course, marriages, trying to be complete, but they have not yet dealt with all of the mental, all the mental things that they have not necessarily dealt with going into the relationship or into the marriage. And then unfortunately, years, 5, 6 years, 2 years, whatever time frame it is, that stuff starts to come up.
Yeah. And but you know what I think about when you say that? That's why in some cases it's good for you to have someone on the outside looking in.
Yes.
Because they can begin to see things that are not healthy.
Right.
And they can begin to point out things that, have y'all discussed this? What's happening here? Why does your dad do this? Why does your brother do this? Type situation. But we'll dive into that.
But no, you're right where we need to be.
Okay.
Because in the movie, this is what Lyric is trying to bring Jason.
Right.
She's bringing him an outside perspective, and she is literally offering him a vision of love that is unburdened by trauma, but because he's so used to that particular dysfunction within his immediate family, it's hard for him to really grab a hold to or embrace, fully embrace what Lyric is trying to show him.
I think it was because he felt like it was not a burden. He felt as if it was a responsibility.
He felt it was a responsibility, but that responsibility, from his eyesight, was rooted in guilt and from
what happened.
From what happened. Yeah. Right. So, but then his brother, on the other hand, Josh, he represents another side of struggle, mental issues, which stem from things that Mad Dog really struggled with. It was like,
or what he pushed onto them.
Yes.
And the way that he treated them.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So which really brings us to tonight with one of the, I guess we can say as a point, is that in terms of how does family influence impact relationships? Because Jason's particular past and his relationship with his brother, it shapes how he ultimately ends up loving and trusting in relationships. So that means that he would only get so far, and then it's just like it just pulls him back in. So that particular family trauma that he has, it ends up creating just a major barrier to his happiness.
Well, yeah, because he still had a visual of the trauma. And what I mean by that is, even though Mad Dog was gone,
right,
everything that happened to them from the point where he got back from war,
right,
and the point from where he died, it was still present because it was displayed through Joshua, you know, in and out of jail. The mama trying to make him the man of the house, you know, make him responsible for Joshua. And that's your brother, look after your brother type situation. So it's hard to get past something that you're still in.
Yeah.
And you don't have the help that you need to try to live through it or get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't have, I feel like Lyric was the only person that really saw what he was dealing with, like really saw him.
Right.
And what he really wanted for his family. He couldn't achieve that because they didn't want that for themselves, especially Joshua.
Well, that's true. But you know, one of the person that wanted it for him was his manager at the TV shop. Because he was supposed to be leaving, going to be a manager over another TV shop in another state, in another city.
But he was not going to leave that situation the way that it was.
He wasn't. He wasn't, but his boss told him, he's just like, you know, every time your brother comes around.
Oh, I forgot about that part. Yeah.
You start messing up, but he used another word.
Right, don't we want to use that?
Right, no, we don't want to use that. Okay. But what it shows us is, and I think sometimes we really have to have this conversation about, you know, negative influences, but then also generational breaking generational cycles. You know, generational cycle, breaking these particular, you know, cycles. And of course, with us being people of faith, of course, you know, we break those generational cycles with of course, with, you know, by faith and stuff like that. But we see this in this movie, how this cycle of Joshua in and out of jail. Jason is always attached because, of course, he's going to want to take care of his mom, and he wants to support her. You know, in that situation in terms of with his brother. But she is somewhat a little responsible too.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when he gets ready to leave, he's happy, he's excited. You know, Lyric has showed him another.
And she said, "What about your brother?"
She said, "Your brother gonna miss you."
In so many words, she said, "What about?"
She said it in a way that only a mother can say it. That would trigger him to make him to start second guessing.
Yeah, his decision.
His decision, and this major step. This major step for him. So, you know, family influences, of course, they can be both positive and negative. Proverbs 22:6, of course, it says, "Train up a child in the way that you want he or she to go, and when they grow old, they won't depart from it." But in this particular situation, what is it that they have poured into Jason?
What were they trained up? What did they train him up to be?
Right. But because Jason didn't really deal with what happened, he had the continual nightmares and dreams, waking up in the middle of the night, sweating, remembering, ultimately what he did. And that's a great point Belina brings up. She says that the mom put the weight of the family on him, on Jason. She put the weight of the family. All of that was on him.
Because it was like their life stopped when Mad Dog died.
Right.
It's like it was like they could never come back from it, as if he was the reason why their family was together, which is kind of confusing because he brought the dysfunction when he came back from war. Because if you look at the imagery that they gave in the beginning, a happy family, him chasing after the boys, them having a good time, a present father. And then when he got back from war, there was, you know, anger, you know, frustration, hate, alcoholism,
just all that.
Just a world of things that could create a dysfunctional family.
Right.
So it's like, what do you teach a child when you've just experienced this type of trauma that you don't even know how to deal with?
Right.
You just had this whole life-changing experience. Because did it say how long he was over there? It didn't say how long.
It didn't say.
However long, I would think being over there a year is enough to mentally challenge you.
You know what's a good question though? How does guilt, just when you're dealing with past traumatic things and you're trying to move forward, just in relationships in life, how does guilt affect our ability to truly love someone? Our guilt, because I believe that within the movie that he definitely loved Lyric, but he had so much guilt regarding what happened, that traumatic experience, that was keeping him from truly loving Lyric like she needed to be loved, because she felt like she was trapped as well. But she had an exit strategy.
She was going, plan. Yeah, but she was thinking about herself. The thing between Jason and Lyric is Lyric thought about herself. She thought about what she needed so that she could survive. Jason didn't think about that. Jason thought about, well, if I leave, what's going to happen with Mama and Joshua? So he had the weight of them and not following what he desired.
Right.
So, I mean, I get guilt that because you want the best for your brother. You want the best for your mom, right? But at some point, you got to put you first.
Right.
Yeah. Like in that situation, Joshua showed you from the time he got out of jail that he was not ready.
No.
You could not force him to be ready.
No.
That had to be his choice. You could support him, absolutely.
Right.
But when that support takes more from you than it gives to him, then you have to exit.
You do, absolutely.
And guilt has to be something that you pray to God about how to handle and talk to somebody about, because God created therapists for a reason.
That's true. And not only did he create therapists, there is this such thing as forgiveness. God's
you
forgiveness.
Better talk up in here.
It actually, what it does for us, y'all, it frees us up to be able to love without fear. That's so, but he was so stuck in the past in terms of what happened, and feeling like it was his fault that Joshua went the direction that he went. But then he was also feeling, this sense of regret and guilt, because he was the one who actually ultimately ended up pulling the trigger that killed Mad Dog as well. And so he hadn't necessarily gotten free from that. And a lot of times people go into relationships and they have baggage, past situations where they themselves, they have not forgiven themselves, truly walked in that forgiveness, or just, because unforgiveness will weigh so heavy on your heart. How is it that you can give your heart to someone else when it is burdened down with so much guilt, so much shame, to where sometimes the best way for us to release ourselves is to simply talk about it?
Right. And I think you have to decide, what type of relationship do you want with your sibling? Do you want to always have this trauma bond? Do we always want to be connected just by what we went through?
Right.
Or do we want to grow past that and develop a relationship outside of what happened to us when we were kids?
Right.
And even with that relationship with your brother, what type of relationship are you going to want with Lyric? Because if you don't have enough room in your heart to let her in because of all the trauma that you connected with your brother, then you're going to lose something that could have been the wife that God planted there to be, to help guide you through and support you while you work things out with your family.
Right.
So you have to choose. It's always a choice.
It is.
And I understand that there was guilt from how his brother had to take, responsibility and shoot the daddy. And I understand how he felt like, because he's the older brother, he should have been there and done more. But at some point, as an adult, you have to get to a place where you can see how this is damaging your life. Like, this is damaging your future.
Right. And but now it's interesting that you brought up trauma bond, because in a sense we could also, and this is just me putting this out there, we could also look at the trauma bond between Jason and Lyric as well, because both of them had siblings who were pulling on them in some kind of way, because Lyric knew all of what her brother was into. You know what I'm saying? So,
but Lyric had no problems.
Oh no, she knew. She's getting on that bus.
She had no problem saying, "Hey, I love you, but I gotta go."
She's getting on the bus. She's getting on the bus.
that is where she was trying to get Jason.
Listen, brother, I'm getting on this bus.
To get him to the place of he gonna do what he gonna do.
Yes, he is going to do what he's going to do.
Yeah,
and it is okay for you to do what you want to do and do what you need to do.
Right, for you.
Yes, it's because, but you could tell when he came back from fighting her brother, when she thought they was getting ready to go, that it was just so much for him to just release what he was saying to her about him being the one actually pulling the trigger. And that's the reason why. So it is a hypothetically, of course, it is a strong possibility that was his first time
saying it out loud.
saying it out loud to someone. Yeah. And I just honestly, I just want to encourage you guys tonight. Some of the best form or one of the best first steps of just freeing yourself from situations like that is just saying it. Now, of course, we know you can't say it to everybody because people will use your trauma and your past against you, but it's good to speak with somebody. Talk that stuff out, because the more and more that you release it, the better you're going to feel.
The less the weight, right? Because the point of it is to get rid of some of that weight.
Yes.
That you're carrying around, because this man had potential to be successful.
Yes.
And he stopped his road to that success for his family.
Right.
Multiple times.
Right.
Especially when you have someone that sees more potential in you than you do. You allowed this family situation. I'm not gonna call it drama because it was really a bad situation.
Right, it was. That
just grew over time. Because nobody in that family, nobody in that household knew how to deal with it.
Right.
And that they dealt with it in the wrong way, like with Joshua, in and out of jail.
Yeah.
And then when he come home, he right back doing the same thing that could ultimately get Jason killed or even get Lyric killed.
Right. Right.
And then when he found out that Jason really loved her, a form of jealousy came into play. As if to say, you gonna choose her over me.
Yes.
Type situation.
Yes, because
now that's the type of guilt trip you shouldn't put on somebody. Because bro, you're gonna be disappointed.
Right. He being Joshua did not like the fact that Lyric, what she represented in Jason's life was freedom.
Freedom, baby. Healing. I was thinking the same thing.
Yes. And so basically, she wanted him to choose love over trauma. Choose love over trauma. She represents freedom. She represents healing, but Jason now has to decide, what is he going to embrace?
Yeah, is he going to embrace road is he going to take?
He's going to take this road to this new life,
right?
Or is he going to
stay in this
stuck in the
world
past?
Of past hurt?
So it's like he didn't understand that what she was trying to show him was a road that leads to a whole new mind renewal process. Mind renewal.
I don't think they understood each other's journey. I think that,
Oh, absolutely.
She knew that there was issues, with his brother or whatnot, but she didn't understand how deep they went. Right. She didn't understand how, what happened in that house that day just did a ripple effect throughout their whole life.
Right.
And because she didn't understand that, it just didn't make sense to her why this man would want to stay in this type of situation and not leave and go to something better. Well, but that's why I just kind of want to encourage y'all. If y'all in a relationship with somebody,
come on,
have these conversations about your family dynamics.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying this is a first date conversation about a trauma that may have happened, such as this. But if you are in a relationship and y'all are contemplating marriage, and y'all want to spend the rest of y'all life together, I implore you to have these hard conversations.
You got to.
And if you need a mediator, go to premarital counseling before you even decide to get married.
Right.
Because these are conversations that are necessary. Right. Because don't pop up on me, and we didn't get married and now we live together and you waking up screaming and I don't understand why.
Right. Right. And then, and don't expect for me to conform to your function and dysfunction.
Right.
Because a lot of times people,
because we are not the same.
Right. A lot of times people, they this is crazy, y'all. They function so well in dysfunction. They function so well in dysfunction.
But they were not functioning, like mentally, they were not functioning.
Right.
Like they were like robots almost, just doing what was necessary to get by.
Right.
And their lives were just so unhealthy. And the way that the mom just they never showed her in a relationship, did they?
No, not in that movie. Not after Mad.
Not after Mad Dog. No. So to me, that means that she never brought anybody home.
Right. Right. You're correct.
So it's like world stop.
Right.
I mean,
but what I find very powerful and interesting is that whenever someone good comes into your life, whether it is from the angle of a romantic relationship, a new friendship, or a new business relationship, when that new person comes in and they begin to show you a different light, a different positive light, taking you out of really showing you just how dysfunctional you are, or how dysfunctional that you may have been thinking.
Yeah.
I'm like you now. I want to implore you to make sure that you don't run away from it just because it feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's unfamiliar. Yeah, it's unfamiliar. But then also too, you need to embrace Romans 12:2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by what? The renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
Yeah.
It is the will of God for us to function in healthy relationships. It is absolutely his will for us to make sure that we function in healthy relationships, that we function, that we choose love over trauma.
Yeah.
Just aren't you tired of that mess?
Well, if you're used to,
there you go.
If you're used to a dysfunctional atmosphere, you're going to be real uncomfortable in something that seems normal and healthy.
That's just, yeah.
And you're going to think something wrong with them.
Yeah.
Let me tell you today, there's nothing wrong with them. There's just a different way life is supposed to be lived. And that different way is a more healthier way, a way that's going to be conducive for you to be who you are called to be.
That's good.
To be in the place God is calling you to be, you have to be healthy.
You have to be.
You can't function in trauma. You can't function in despair, because where is happiness going to fit? Where is purpose going to fit?
Right.
Because you can't even do you can't even do what God is calling you to be.
Right.
Because you worried about your brother. You worried about your mama. Let them worry about themselves. They are adults. You do not raise your parents. You do not raise your siblings. At least you're not supposed to.
Right.
You can't be an authority figure at 8 years old. Now, come on, somebody. Come on now. At some point, as an adult, we have to realize, okay, when I was a child, I thought like a child.
Spoke as a child, thought as a child.
Now that I'm an adult,
I think as an adult.
I think and I speak.
Yes.
As an adult.
Yes.
Let that ring in your ear.
Right. Right. All she wanted to show him was new life.
Good life.
Yeah, good life. New perspective. New perspective on life.
Yeah.
This town that we live in here in this city, this is not the totality of who we are. this is there's so much more life outside of what you see presently. So why don't you? Because I mean, it's big of her to invite him in on her personal journey. I mean, of course, we know it was because they loved each other.
Yeah.
But so much stuff that was going on, so much trauma, so much unresolved trauma that they never talked about, that they never really discussed. And of course, and we know this is a movie.
It's fictional.
It's fictional.
But it's a great example.
Yeah, because at the same time, we all know, and some of us may have been in this situation to where we just got into something, and we didn't take out the time to really just dive into who that person really was.
Yeah. I mean, of course, that's what it's going to start as, right?
Yeah.
You don't really know who this person is, but you're interested.
Right.
Now, let's stick to interested until we know more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's not move from interested to in this without knowing more about the person that we jumping in this with.
Yeah.
That's why I really encourage people to have conversations early on, because you never know who you're bringing into your world.
Yes.
Or whose world you moving into.
Right.
It works both ways. Look, what's your family? What was your family like?
Right.
You know, let's talk about some things. Let's really get to know each other instead of what you do for a living, how many kids you got, how many times you've been married.
Right. Because
let's talk more about, hey, how was this upbringing?
Family origin.
Because that matters when you want to raise your own family.
Yes.
Whether we believe it or not, the things that we saw growing up, how our parents raised us, and the things that happen in our household, we duplicate them in our own.
We do.
Maybe knowingly, maybe unknowingly, but they happen.
Right.
And sometimes we have to catch ourselves, because I had to do that. Because I caught myself sounding like my mama one day. And not in a good way. And I said, "Woo, okay, let me reel that back. Let me reel that back in, because
But think about this though. What if you weren't spiritually mature enough to reel it back in? Because a lot of times people, they don't have that conversation regarding family origin.
Yeah.
Or origin of family.
Yeah.
And just in case if you all don't know what that means, I'm definitely not trying to insult your intelligence.
Yeah.
That's just basically, how were you raised? Because us coming together in a relationship, especially in a marriage, it's important to know how you were raised.
You said that's how you were raised.
And not just how you were raised, but what did you see?
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things.
And how did that impact you?
Yes.
What do you feel about that?
There are a lot of things that all of us seen growing up. We saw it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that our parents or uncles or whatever case may be allowed us to indulge in it, but we still saw
it. Yeah.
And if there wasn't any correction or rearing, if you will, then you will go into all of your relationships thinking that this is how it goes. This is what we're supposed to do. This is, this is what we did. We yelled. We screamed to get our point across. We cussed each other out to get points across.
Oh, Jesus.
Versus that's not how we did it. we yes, there was some correction, but it was never this particular feeling. Never looked like this. God forbid putting your hands on. None of that. And when people wake up in the middle of the night, and it's like this individual is showing you a whole new person, and you're like, who did I marry? Who have I hooked up with? Who are you?
Come on, TikTok. Who did I marry?
Right. Who did I marry? And it's just, but all of these things could have been rectified if we would have had some conversation just kind of talking about the reason why I do this, or the reason why I'm this way is because this happened to me as a teenager, as a child. This happened to me. A lot of people now, I'm just using this as an example. A lot of people now, they don't play, you can go spend the night over here with their kids because of what happened to them when they went to a sleepover.
And not realizing that they're keeping this repetitive cycle going from when they grew up into their household.
Right. And so, so with Jason and Lyric, he's choosing trauma over love, and she really can't fathom it and can't understand that because she does not really understand.
She doesn't know
the totality,
the full details of it all.
She didn't realize it until Joshua showed up at the house.
Right.
So that's when it really clicked, and it should never get to that place.
Yeah.
It should never get to that place.
Yeah.
And so she represents a healing and a fresh start, and a lot of times people, they don't take advantage of those fresh starts because of what they've gone through in their past. They are functioning in dysfunction. I really want y'all to get that. They were functioning in dysfunction. And so, it's
like, what do you do? Like, ladies that's on the live, like if you have somebody, you see the potential, right? And once you understand their full story, as to why they are the way that they are, male or female, women, men, whichever one of y'all, like, what do you do when you see that potential and you want so much for that person and you want them to go with you? You want to be with them. You want things to change for them. Do you just not do anything? Do you just wash your hands of it and say, hey, that's on you, bro. If you're going to stay here, and deal with your brother and, live with your mama for the rest of your life, then I can't be a part of that. I'm leaving.
Well, if a person, this is my opinion, if a person lays that out like that, then they're pretty much given the answer. If I'm not leaving, I'm not doing this, they're basically saying
it doesn't matter what you say.
I don't have the capacity to be in this relationship with you, let alone marry you, move away with you. I don't have that capacity. But if that individual is showing that they are more so struggling versus settling, because there's if I'm struggling with how to make this transition away from this particular dysfunction so that I can experience this new life. I'm struggling with it versus just settling in with it.
I just think all in all, it's going to be a responsibility that you're either going to take with you or leave there.
Of course.
Because if he goes with you and he's struggling, like with Jason is struggling with leaving his family, leaving his brother.
Right.
And his mindset is not going to change just because he got on that train. There's going to be some work that needs to be done for that process to be better and for his mind to shift into this new place she's trying to take him to.
Right.
So I want you to go, but I want you to understand what happens if you leave. Because if you leave your brother and your mom, it ain't going to be no, well, I got to go back for this weekend and do this, or I got to go do this, or my mom called and I got to do this. It's like you're doing it from a distance now. So you haven't completely processed that trauma. You're mentally there. Maybe not physically, but you're mentally there.
That's good.
So at some point, Lyric has to make a decision if that's something that she wants to endure, because that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to transition mentally just because he got on that bus. He got on that bus because he wants to change. Right. He wants to see something different. He wants to do something different. But if mentally he doesn't know how to do that and doesn't comprehend what it's going to take for him to do that, then they're gonna always end up right back in that same city.
I agree. And you posed the question. We got some good.
Oh,
so I'm a It says, let me see. Lena said,
I'm with you on that, Lena. There's only so much a person can take.
Yeah, she said sometimes people feel like they do not deserve a fresh start or freedom. And so that's the reason why I can get that, because that's the reason why some people end up making that decision in terms of, well, I'm just going to stay. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this particular freedom. But while you were talking, the same thing I'm thinking to myself is, well, if he does jump on that bus and he does go, with Lyric, then my prayer would be is that you go and get the necessary help that you need, because you can't truly help them with that until you get all of this set with yourself and all the trauma. You really have to sit down and speak with somebody. You literally shot your dad, killed him.
Yeah.
So you have to deal.
And you saw it.
Yes.
All three of them.
Yes. you see it. Tayon said, pray that they are not a psycho. And then, of course, same grace. Yes, it's true. You definitely want to pray for them that they're not a psycho. And then
But I'm going to pray for you while you finish what you got to do in this city. And when you get yourself on one accord, feel free to jump on that train, bus, however you get there.
Come on. You come when you get to deal with that. You come on. I'm here.
Come see a man about a horse.
But he just said, ask for understanding. Yeah, that is true. And I think that's one of the best questions that you can ask, because she could have asked him, like, help me to understand this, so I can see where you're coming from.
Right.
What's really going on?
Right.
That question could have been asked, or possibly should have been asked, or she should even had to ask for understanding. He should just came out and said, this is the reason why I'm functioning the way that I'm functioning.
But this is a clear indication of someone who does not know communication.
Oh yeah.
When you're dealing with someone that does not understand communication or how to communicate effectively, you have to be the one to ask the questions. And you may feel like you drilling them, but you're not. You are trying to get an understanding.
Right.
And if I'm asking you one question and I still don't understand, be prepared for a follow-up.
Right.
Because I want to understand where you're coming from.
Get an understanding.
I want to understand why you're so attached to your brother and your mom as you are. Help me understand that. And if you want to go away with me, or if I want to be in this relationship with you, that's the least you could do, in my opinion.
Right.
The least you could do is tell me why there's so much friction between the decision to go or stay.
Right. And we of course, we in our first book, the Journey Between Yes and I Do, we talk about we talked about of course, family, home origin, family dynamics. And we when I say we, I'm talking about myself and Tanya, we talked about how our families were both loving families, but the dynamics were they were different.
They were different.
And so there would be times we would just having a conversation, nothing disrespectful. Why y'all do that? Why y'all act this way?
I think he's trying to talk about my folks, y'all.
No. I could be talking about mine.
Oh, okay. I feel better about that.
Okay. But we both explain why. We explain why, and we both of us, we respected the decision to say, well, I don't think that I want to act like that. I don't think that I don't
want that for us.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And it's okay to say that.
It is.
It's okay to say, as for me and my family, I would prefer.
Right.
Yeah. As for me and my husband, I would prefer.
Right.
My expectation for my household is not that.
Yeah. Yeah. Bible says it's best. Joshua, he said, as for me and my house. He said, I don't know what they got going on over there.
I don't know what they doing over there across the street.
As for me and my house, Pastor Tiff says something I think is powerful too. She says, some people are ashamed of their past and have a hard time articulating their pain. This is true because sometimes people go through a situation that is so traumatic that it is actually hard for them to articulate. And that's the reason why we are pro-therapy, professional therapy, so that you can go and sit with someone that can can help you go through the stages of communication so that you can begin to share, exactly what it is that you've gone through. Sometimes I think we put so much demand on people that have gone through some things that we automatically feel like that they are at the place to really just share everything with us.
So here's the thing about that, because sometimes you don't get into a relationship where people ask questions or even care about your family of origin or how you were raised, or even trauma that, you endured as a child or as a young adult. Some people don't ask those questions, but when you meet someone that asks questions, then a light bulb should go off to you as to say, maybe that's something I need to deal with, because now it's coming up with someone that I'm really, really liking and really, really want to be in a relationship with. And if I feel like it's going to affect what we have, maybe I need to figure out how to deal with that. Now, if you are not comfortable with sharing your past, or if you are in a position where you are ashamed, then your partner could just be a support to help you get through that. Not necessarily you just giving full details until you've reached the point of being comfortable enough to give full details, but they can be a support to you as to say, hey, I know this great therapist, and I've known a lot of people that went to them. They got great reviews, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you try that one time? Just try it one time, see what happens. That support encourages you to get better. It doesn't say you have to tell me what's going on with you. Right. It doesn't say you have to give me detail by detail until you're ready. Because like you said, some people are ashamed. When you shame, you don't talk, you hold everything in, which is not good. It's not healthy anyway. But if that's all you know, then we can't blame you for what you know, what you don't know. Right. No, when you have someone that is supporting you, that is pushing you to get help, when they see it in your actions and they see it in your day-to-day, then I would say accept that support and make it what you can make it.
Accept that support, make it what you can make it, and then we can close with this, because Lena said, you're taking that baggage and trauma out of town. So but
it ain't closed,
right? But from a relationship standpoint. Whether you are dating someone and you are considering marriage or whatever case it may be, if you are not ready or have the capacity to help that individual unpack all the baggage that they have, I once again implore you to bow out from the situation, because that person's baggage ultimately becomes your baggage.
Well, yeah.
And here we are down the road. Yeah. And you got all this baggage, and I'm looking like, I don't know if I want to help you unpack that.
Looking like a whole bag lady.
Right. So you on that particular end, you got to be sure that you can handle what the other individual is.
Yeah, because love is not going to be enough. I love you. It's not going to be enough. I'm sorry, y'all. I know y'all think love cures all and it's supposed to conquer all, but you got to be. The love of God does. But the love of an individual imperfect person.
The love of God.
Look, you hear me trying to change it. Imperfect people. We gotta be smart about the decisions we make in our relationships. Right. And jumping into something not knowing exactly what we're doing or who we're doing it with, it can be dangerous. And some things work out for the good because you grow with them as time progresses, but sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. Sometimes you put in all this effort to be with somebody that never grows past their trauma, that never tries to get past the things that happened to them when they were young or in the household with their parents. So you have to be prepared for things like that. And that's why we encourage you to communicate, regardless of the stage of your relationship. Yes. Regardless of the type of relationship, business, romantic, friendship,
family,
communicate. Family. That's your family. If you can't tell your brother you have an issue with them or what the issue is that's causing y'all not to have a relationship with each other, then you need to check that. Yeah. Because like you said Sunday, The Bible tells you if you have an out with your brother,
go to
your brother.
Not social media.
Not social media. Not your homegirl.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Communicate with each other and talk about the things that are causing you despair.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. You preached the whole sermon right there. So, listen, man, we've enjoyed tonight. Was that good tonight?
Was that good? We could keep going because Jason's lyric is something, ain't it?
It really does. Right.
Have you picked the movie for next time?
I hadn't. We're just gonna roll with it.
No, we're not gonna roll with it.
And surprise it. Y'all give us some movies in the comments.
Put some movies in the comments, y'all.
Yeah, real quick. Real quick.
Deal with relationships. Because and look, if y'all are having issues with family, if y'all are having issues with friendships, any type of relationships, do what the flyer says. Reset. Go back to when it worked and try to fix what didn't.
Reset those relationships.
Yeah.
Reset. But it's gonna take some work.
It's gonna take some work, man. It's not gonna be easy.
Because I said this Sunday, with every reset, it's gonna take some restructuring.
It's gonna take some work now. You're gonna have to work now.
Paulette, come on. Paulette said soul food.
Ooh.
You know what? We're gonna talk about Terry. We're gonna talk about Terry.
I just want y'all to know that he thinks soul food is called Terry.
We gotta talk about Terry. We gotta talk about Terry. We gotta talk about Terry.
We gotta talk about Terry.
Because for years, we thought Terry was crazy.
I didn't think Terry was crazy. I knew Terry wasn't crazy.
Man, y'all doing all the good ones. Pastor said Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Ooh, The Wood.
That's a good one too.
That's a good one too. That's a good one. Jesus. Okay, y'all. Now, shoot. How many more wins did we get?
Denise and Harlem Nights.
Denise, girl. Harlem Nights. That's one of my favorite movies. I just want you to know.
Yeah, Terry took a bad rap. Terry took a bad rap.
It's leaning toward Terry.
Yeah, Terry.
It's leaning more toward Terry.
Grandmama, your arm.
Oh God. Okay. We love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in.
Thank y'all for tonight. Listen.
Continue to leave the comments with the movies.
Yes.
We will go back and read them because we do want some good ideas.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
This coming Sunday.
Yes.
Pink, red, and white.
Get it right now.
I'm sorry. Pink, red, and white. Wear your pink, red, and white.
Wear your pink, red, and white, or wear pink, all pink.
Yeah, whichever
all
one.
Red, all white, whatever you choose. But just bring that color combination. Yes. It's Love Week. We hope the couples out there are enjoying each other. Married folks, we hope y'all are having a good time with each other this week because this is Love Week. Friday is Valentine's Day.
Don't y'all DM us talking about some, oh, that's demonic and Valentine. We don't want to hear that. Go.
We don't have that kind of church.
Right. Go. Right. We don't. Go and I know somebody saying Valentine's Day is every day. I understand all that.
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, go out to eat.
Valentine's Day is February 14th.
Right. Do Netflix and chill, whatever it is you're gonna do.
Have a good time with each other. Enjoy each other.
Yeah. Somebody said acrimony.
Ooh,
that's a good one too. Deliver some evil though. That's a good one too. That's a good one too.
Ooh, acrimony.
This coming Sunday, 1 p.m. Meet us there. Meet us on online.
Mm-hmm.
Invite somebody to come out with you for service this coming.
Hey, feel free to pop out with a boo at church on Sunday. I'm just saying, relationship reset in church. What?
I told them Saturday. Now
what y'all think?
I'm gonna tell y'all what I told them Saturday. I was like, if you bringing them to church and you introducing them to me, your pastor. The next words out of my mouth is, "Oh, this is serious." You bring them.
Pay him no, never mind, y'all. If you want to bring your new boo to church, please do.
Pay me all the mind.
Okay, y'all. We're gonna let y'all go.
Have a great week. See y'all this coming Sunday.
Yeah.
A lot of things that are going on. Make sure that you keep an eye out on the socials.
Yep.
Registration for
Tea with Lady T
weekend. It is officially open.
Yep.
Definitely want to make sure you go to the social media page and go ahead and get registered because it is going to be an amazing
good, y'all.
weekend. Amazing weekend. Good. Paulette, we continue to pray for you.
We
and
love
your
you,
family
Paulette.
and your family as well.
Hug my friend for me.
God bless you all, and we will see y'all on Sunday.
Bye, y'all.
See y'all
Have
later.
a good night.